Hey, fellow Crotanas, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Cropivian. We are back. My favorite 10 episodes from season 9 of Supernatural. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Number 10, Slumber Party. Anytime we get Charlie in an episode, you know it's going to get crazy really fast. And this one just goes from 0 to 1,000. Crazy. And the fact that they bring in Oz in this episode with Dorothy to boot as a hunter, and that Oz is essentially a buffed up version of Purgatory. Originally, they only bring in Charlie to deal with one of the bunker's computers to try and break into it and get its secrets. However, it flips all the way around, and the Wicked Witch comes into play, Dorothy comes into play, and Charlie gets to live out her dream, going over to Oz and exploring the wonders or the dangers, probably a better description, of the land of Oz over there in the world of Supernatural. Honestly, would have been interesting to see in a Charlie season what happened over there in Oz, but some things are better left for the fans to create in their minds. Number 9, do you believe in miracles? I know a lot of people don't like this episode, especially since Metatron is in it, and Metatron kills Dean and everything, but at this point, Dean is well endowed with the Mark of Cain, and he has the first blade to boot. Crowley hasn't been telling him is that, well, Crowley was looking out for his own best interests as usual and knew the history and the power of the Mark of Cain, or at least a little bit. And he knew that more than likely Dean wasn't going to succeed in his kamikaze attempt against Metatron, and unfortunately, he doesn't. But the reason why I like this season finale the most is the fact that at the end of the episode, before it ends, with Sam in his usual rage-stricken fever, he calls to Crowley, and Crowley, of course, answers the call, but it's to resurrect Dean Mon. We finally get to see the Dean Mon character, and you only hope that there's hope for Dean to get back to Dean. Number 8, Rock and a Hard Place, which Dean finds himself well in. This little church, who is basically taking up a group celibacy. Sam and Dean, of course, attend one, and Dean finds someone that he recognizes, but he's not sure from where, and when he finally finds out that it's from one of his most favorite erotica movies, and that she's practically his favorite erotica superstar, Dean definitely takes the opportunity to do the electric. It's one of the wild episodes, and that's why I love it, is that it's so wild and so out there. Number 7, The Purge. Well, you want to get healthy, huh? Or, well, you want to lose some weight. Well, there's always some creatures out there who are more than willing to help out with that weight loss. Again, it's an episode that takes you down twists and turns and winding roads in season 9 that you don't expect. That there's not just one, but 2 monsters in this episode, and one of them is actually a little more even keel than the other one. Anytime Dean has to get around healthy food that Sam is already a big proponent of by this point, he just has to try it and see if he likes it at this point. He does, but Sam is already well in the swing of things. And of course, they come across Officer Donna Hanscom again, and it just kind of goes crazy from there. because at this point, she doesn't quite know what's going on yet at this point. She hasn't been clued in on everything on the other side of what's really out there, but such a great episode, a very unique episode to Supernatural, and the more unique, the more I like. Number 6, Bad Boys. Like I continuously say throughout these episodes, is that I like it when we get to go back and see Sam and Dean as kids and see what they were like when they were growing up and see the situations that they were put in. This time it focuses more on Dean, whereas The Girl Next Door focused more on Sam. This time we focus more on Dean and how he actually got put in a boys' home for a while because he was a delinquent, but nonetheless, such a great episode to get to see more of Dean growing up and see who influenced him to become the man that he became later on in the show. The ghost that's in the episode is doing it because she's trying to protect her son, who is in this home and is always constantly being bullied. And unfortunately, he has to be able to come to terms with the fact that he doesn't need her protection anymore. And it's an interesting episode, and it's a very good growing up episode and coming of age episode as well. Number 5, Bloodlines. So this one throws you into Chicago. The Windy City has a secret. In a mafia-esque way, some monsters have decided to play a Romeo and Juliet style story with each other. To get us started in this episode right off the bat, an innocent gets involved in one of the killings, and, well, he now has seen the flip side. He has now seen what's really out there. So what's left for him? He has to become a hunter. He has to find and get revenge on it. Typical old story in the realm of Supernatural, but Sam and Dean know a little thing or two about what that can do to people and what the hunter's life can do to people. So they try and actually help him to steer him away from the dangerous side of things. And it's such a great, straightforward episode, but it still has its twists and turns to keep it interesting and fun to watch time and again. Number 4, #Thin Man. Well, Harry and Ed are back. The ghost faces are back, but it's only the two. Sadly, though, and mirroring Sam and Dean themselves, their relationship is fraying at every step. This episode would be the finale to Ed Zedmore and Harry Spangler's stories within Supernatural. It also turns out that in this episode, there's not a supernatural being doing anything. It's all created, harkening back to when we first met the Ghostfacers in Hell House. Only this time it's not a Topa. This time it's just people doing it. And the main reason why I like this episode is the fact that it takes Sam and Dean's relationship and mirrors it with Ed and Harry, which is, as I thought about it when I watched this episode, it made a lot of sense because Ed and Harry were always kind of the two that mirrored Sam and Dean's brotherly relationship the best outside of anybody. And it's kind of crazy because I don't know if it was intentional or not. But through this episode, all of the stuff that they've layered throughout the seasons between these 4 characters and these 2 relationships makes so much sense on why they mirror each other and why this episode means so much to not only this season, but Supernatural moving forward. Number 3, Alex, Annie, Alexis Ann. So Sheriff Mills calls the Winchester boys to help her with a runaway, essentially, who she doesn't know has ties to a vampire clan who's been using her for victims, to attract victims to their nest. This one, again, it dives deep into how vampires work and how they utilize just a human, basically, their Supernatural's version of a familiar. This was a very good episode, and especially the fact that they get to bring back the vampire cure to help Alex out once the mother of the nest infects her to become a vampire, which is what Alex's end goal wanted to be. But she realizes that that's not what she wants to be. That's not who she wants to be. And it becomes a race against the clock, both for the Winchesters and for Sheriff Mills, to try and not only stop this nest, but also to save Alex from a fate that no one would want. Number 2, Firstborn. Kane has finally entered the chat room, ladies and gentlemen. I so like this character so much. It sucks that he didn't get more screen time than what he did, but he was such a needed character and a needed push for Dean. And again, as they utilized the Cain and Abel story throughout the entirety of Supernatural, Kane mirrored Dean pretty darn well. A great character study for both Dean and Kane as in the terms of the show of Supernatural. In order to get the First Blade, Dean must get the Mark of Cain. Well, it takes a lot of work and a lot of convincing, but Kane eventually does decide to break and gives Dean the mark, sharing in the infection of the Mark of Cain. However, what nobody realizes is how powerful Kane clearly is, because at the end of the episode, he is able to get, or Crowley and Dean get out of the house that Kane is currently staying in, hiding in is a better way to say it, but Kane, in a bright burst of light, takes out all the demons that Abaddon has sent to try and stop Crowley and Dean from getting the Mark of Cain. A tremendous episode. Number 1, Dog Dean Afternoon. Well, Dean can now talk to dogs and birds and basically every other animal on the face of the planet now. What hilarity is going to ensue after a ritual spell goes completely right, or maybe way too well right. First, a hamburger paper wad from Sam throwing it in the trash can and bringing it back, to listening to the dog, the German Shepherd in this story, back and forth it goes. Quickly, or very soon, Sam realizes what's going on here. And especially after Dean starts barking, well, yelling at the mailman. It was a gold episode. It was a golden episode right from the get-go, and this one didn't disappoint. What more could you possibly ask for from an episode where Dean has to, in order to figure out the case and what's doing all of this, what better way to do it than Dean turning into a dog, essentially? Like I said, I love the wild episodes. So guys, that is going to conclude my top 10 episodes from Season 9 of Supernatural. I thank you all so much for watching. Always imagine your dream, create your happiness, and live your life on the edge. And I will see you in that next episode. See ya.